Hello, welcome to my channel and thanks for tuning into this video. Today I'm doing a video where I take shades from my existing collection and create dupes for all 4 shades in this Chantecaille Spring 2021 Butterfly Quartet. So I'll show you what palettes and what shades I use to get my dupes for these. And then I'm going to show you 2 different looks using this palette and the dupes. So I'll show you, see if you can guess which side is which. I also did the lips, so if you want to guess, leave that in the comments. It would be fun to see which one you think is which. Because it's confusing with the camera and things being flipped and so on, just go bang side is one side and no bang side is the other side if you want to make a guess. Anyway, so if you'd like to see how I created this look as well as another look and what I used for dupes and so on, just keep on watching. Okay, so I found dupes for all the shades here. I'm going to be mixing a couple of different shades of the ones that are in my collection already in order to get all of these, but I will show you now a little insert of all the shades. So you'll see each of the shades swatched on my arms, and the first one in each little grouping is going to be the Chantecaille shade, and then the one right after it will be my dupe shades. And I'll point out now what the shades are that I used for each of the Chantecaille. I ended up using 4 different palettes to dupe all of these 4 shades, but for the satins and the metallic shade, I just used these 2 palettes here. This is the Viseart Paris Edit, and this is Tom Ford Pretty Baby Quad. Okay, so for the lightest satin shade in the Chantecaille, I used this shade, and this shade from Pretty Baby. All 3 of those shades mixed together to create that lightest satin. For the darker satin, I used all 3 of the satin shades in the Pretty Baby Quad, so these 3 here mixed together to make the darker satin in the Chantecaille. And then for the peachy metallic in the Chantecaille, I used these 3 shades mixed together here in the Paris Edit. For the triple chrome, what Chantecaille is calling the triple chrome, I found that the best way to get the most similar result was to mix those 2 shades that I compared in my previous video. So that one, the lime chrome from Natasha Denona Gold, and this one from the Pat McGrath, which I don't know what it's called, but I can write that down below. So I mixed those 2 together to get that triple chrome shade in the Chantecaille. I wanted to try using dupes on one eye, Chantecaille on the other, and I want to try doing 2 looks. So we'll see how that goes. And let's just get right into it. So I'm going to take my Sonia G Classic Crease. And for the first look, I want to just combine these 2 shades here. So I'll go into the satin, focus it on the outer corner, but pull it in a little bit and pull it up the crease. And then I'm going to take the soft shader, just making sure it's all cleaned off, and going into that peach metallic. And placing that all over the rest of the lid space. So this is a very, very simple look. And I've just gone back into that satin and just sort of reinforcing where I had already put that. I'm gonna try with my finger into the peach and just get that really strong right on the lid. As I mentioned in my review of this quad, I find the pigment in this, it's not that it's not pigmented, it's just that the color of it is lighter than it looks like in the pan on my eye. Okay, so that's where I'm gonna leave that eye, just very simple. And now I'll try to recreate that with my dupe shades. For the lighter satin, mixing this one and this one. And I'm really using more of that third shade where my index finger is and this shade, and not very much of the lightest shade right there, just to get the right sort of depth of color there. Okay, that's fine for that. And then cleaning off my soft shader again. And for the peach, I'm using only the Viseart. And I'm using these 3 tones, mostly these 2, but I'll throw a little bit of that in because I needed that to get the slight more pinkiness that I found from the Chantecaille. It also has a little bit more shine, so that helps too. Okay, so there's what we have. And I'm not going to finish off this look. I won't put on any mascara or liner because this is it for this look. And I just want to show you how close I could get with those. I think the peach here is a bit darker, and this matte looks a little bit cooler than the one that I mixed together, but I think the overall effect is quite similar. We'll go wash this off and we'll get started on look number 2. All right, for the second look, I'm going to be focusing on these 2 shades in the Chantecaille. I'm going to do just another simple look, similar to what I did with these 2 shades, because I think for this video, I want each of the shades to be discernible so you can really compare them to their dupes that I've made. So I'm just taking the classic crease into that dark satin shade in the Chantecaille, focusing that on the outer part of the eye, sort of pulling it out and just dragging it in very light blending motions. And I want to pull it onto the lid about halfway across because I'm kind of curious to see what the triple chrome, that kind of topper shade, is going to look like on top of this darker color. I know I said in my review video that I find these are satins, but I find they perform like mattes, and I do stand by that, but when I do look at them more closely, I can see that shimmer that's in them that really does make them satins. Just wiping off my Refer 21 again, going into the triple chrome. And one commenter had asked for a bit of a comparison in terms of the textures between this one and then the other 2, the Natasha Denona and the Pat McGrath. And I did write that down, so if you find that comment in my previous video, you'll be able to see what I've said. But basically, the Chantecaille is much softer and creamier feeling. It feels almost creamy to the touch, and it goes on very, very easily. And I also have not experienced fallout with it. Whereas the Pat McGrath is quite a dry feeling texture, and it's much more glittery and harder. It doesn't feel soft like this one does at all. And it also usually gives me fallout. Okay, so that's what we're working with there. And let's get into the dupe side. I'll do something underneath the eye too, but for now I just want to get this top part finished. So for the darker satin in the Chantecaille, I mixed all 3 of these shades in Pretty Baby. Okay, now I think that is looking a little bit more purple than this one, but it's pretty close. And then for my sparkly shade, mixing together that one from Natasha Denona Gold and that one from Pat McGrath Mothership 5. And I found that mixing them together gave me the closest dupe because the Pat McGrath is much more sparkly, I think, than this one, or it has bigger sparkles, so it reflects a lighter color. And the Natasha Denona has a little bit more yellow in it. And those 2 mixed together just seem to work the best. And also the shift on the Natasha Denona is much closer to the color of the peach shift on the Chantecaille, whereas the Pat McGrath shift's a little bit more pink. So I'm getting those on nice and easily. And I am seeing a little bit more brightness from this again because of those sparkles that are in the Pat McGrath. But the colors and the overall effect is quite similar, I think. All right, so that's what we are working with so far. Chantecaille, Dupes. And let's see how we're gonna finish off this eye. I want to reinforce, I've wiped off my brush again, I want to reinforce the green shade just a little bit. Yeah, that's better. Just to match the intensity that I'm getting from the other side. Taking the flat definer, and for the lower lash line, I'm just going to pull this along the whole lower lash line, but not right into the corner. And then I'll use this as a liner as well, just kind of packing it along the lash line. And then just pulling kind of what's left on the brush along here, right over top of the edge of that chrome. Okay, now for the other eye, just mixing these 3 shades. Okay, and I want to, I guess I'll just put that chrome on the inner corner too. I know I did that yesterday as well, but I do like the way that it looks on the inner corner. Okay, cleaning off the brush and dipping into my 2 dupes. Oh, I should compare the textures of the Natasha Denona one to this one as well. The textures of these 2 are more similar than this and the Pat McGrath because the Natasha Denona is quite a soft feel as well and more creamy feeling. I would say it's perhaps a little bit more sheer than the Chantecaille, but they're more similar in terms of the texture for sure. Oh, and I have to do my liner on this eye too. Okay, that's what we have. I'm going to do liner on my waterline and put mascara on, and then I'll be right back. Okay, the eyes are all finished. So this is what the final eye look is. So that's Chantecaille, that's Dupes. Can you tell a difference? I think there are subtle differences, but it's pretty hard to tell, and the overall effect, I think, is virtually identical. So I wanted to do a dupe on the lips too, so I'm going to use the Lisa Eldridge Go Lightly Gloss and the Chantecaille Peach Blossom, which is the one lip cheek that I got from this collection. So I do have a liner on this time. I have Victoria Beckham shade 02 liner. So I'll do Chantecaille in keeping with the eye, Chantecaille on this side. And Lisa on the other side. I can see a difference. I think the Lisa is brighter. Certainly different, but quite similar. So this is the finished look. All right, I hope you enjoyed this video. It was fun trying to find shades that would work as dupes. I mean, ideally, I wish I could have found single shades for each one in the Chantecaille palette, but I just didn't have shades that were exact, so I found that mixing them gave me the best result. So I hope it was fun for you to watch this as well. If you have any questions or comments, I'd love to see those down below. If you'd like to see more from me, I would love to have you subscribe to my channel. Thank you so much for watching. Take care, and I'll see you in the next video. Bye.